It's always
Anyway,
nighttime
so like
now.
it's really dark outside and we just ate. So like our bodies are just like sleep
But
now,
that's
my
the-
son.
And I don't get why. Well, it's like hibernation and everything, but
You don't sleep when they hibernate. I don't know
yeah,
what they
it's
do.
not.
Apparently they don't
It's like
sleep.
somewhere in between being awake and being asleep. It's not. Yeah, it's not actual sleeping.
So dumb. I was lied to for so long.
Yeah.
Not fair.
But like going to sleep after you eat is the worst thing you could do.
Is it?
100% it's the worst thing you could do because you're not going to get a restful sleep because your body's still trying to digest all the food that you just ate. And it's not going to digest all of the food you just ate. Like it's going to take longer. And
Isn't
then
that
it
good
like
though? So you're less hungry when you wake up?
no, it builds fat.
Oh, yeah. I knew that.
That's why if you want to lose weight, you need to not eat 2 hours before going to sleep, something like that. Which doesn't happen to me. I eat and knock out.
Yeah. It's like I'm eating with the sole purpose of trying to fall asleep.
No, you should not be doing that.
Explains a lot.
Nope. And then you should drink water. When the first thing you do when you wake up is like drink a glass of water.
I do that.
I don't.
It helps me wake up. Also, I only drink water nowadays. I mean,
Oh, that's true.
I drink like sports drinks and water, and that's about it.
So Randy's knee still hurts.
Yep.
This is gonna be like week 3, week 4.
Week 4. Technically, it's only been 1 week for us since you started mentioning it.
Yeah.
But
it's gonna
everybody
be,
else is like months.
and it's gonna be so long because I will probably have to have surgery on it, and then I'll
Yeah.
just continue to complain about it. So for
Yep.
them, it'll be like
For a year.
yeah,
a
me
year.
talking
you
about
talking
my
about it.
knee.
Oh man. I always do that. I say, "Oh man," and then I
And
never
never
have
say
anything
anything.
afterwards.
I don't want to have surgery on my knee. I don't.
It
I
is
just
kinda
cut the
spooky.
whole knee off.
Yeah,
cut
just
it all off.
Right above the
Take it off.
knee. I don't need it.
Jesse was scaring me because he said that he had 2 surgeries on his knee, and both times it was for a torn meniscus. And he said the worst part of it's not the surgery, it's the rehab.
Mhm.
Which
Yeah,
no.
surgery's not the hard part. It's what comes after surgery.
Yeah.
Um,
And he was like, they make you, because the thing is right now I can't bend my knee. Like it is excruciating pain to bend my knee, so I have to try and keep it straight as possible. And he said in rehab they won't let you leave until, or like you can't stop going to rehab until you can touch the heel to your butt. And like, no, I will not. I can't do that now, obviously, because I'm in pain. But I can't imagine after surgery when everything, like the point is to like stretch the muscles.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine after they've like sewn everything back together, then stretching them. Oh.
well, I mean, you have like a wait period, right?
Well, yeah, no,
'Cause he
you're not
doesn't
doing
have
it the next day, I don't think.
No, they have to let that part of the body heal.
Mm-hmm.
I did PT for a little bit because I had like excruciating bursitis in my hip, which is inflammation of the muscles.
Mm.
I still have it to this
God,
day.
what is wrong with us?
I don't know, man.
You have problems of your own.
Yeah,
like
I
your
got a lot.
body has been trying to kill you since
the day I was born.
yeah.
I was born a month premature. I had fluid in my lungs. I had constant ear infections.
You were born a month before your due date?
Yeah.
Were you in the NICU?
Yeah.
Wow. Makes so much sense.
Yeah. It was rough. I was a sick little bitch for like
You're
a year and a
still
half.
a sick little
I'm
bitch.
still, but like, yeah, I was gonna say I did PT for a year because my hip, it still hurts. Because what it is I got too tall too fast. Are you good?
No.
Do you need a minute?
Yeah, you had to keep going because that's the bit.
Okay.
It's okay.
Um,
Spit went down the wrong pipe. So.
solid. What it is I grew too fast, and so like the padding of like skin and muscle in between, or not skin and muscle, the padding of like skin and shit between my hip, the outside of my hip, and then the muscle of my hip was not thick enough, and so I would bump it on shit all the time because I was super tall, and it's like tables and shit is just right there, and so you just barely tap it, but you do it over and over and over again for so long that like eventually it just builds up and it just starts like it creates bursitis, and that's just like my muscles are inflamed. The best way to describe the feeling is like someone There's like a rock inside of my hip, and then there's a rock on the outside of my hip that are just grinding up against each other and grinding the inside together.
Nice.
So I did PT for that for a little while, and then they were just like, "Well, there isn't really anything we can do to make you better, so you just have to like go." And I'm like,
Yeah, just keep living.
"Cool,
Just
great." So I just have to do stretches like once a week, but I don't do them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when do you ever?
I mean, it's like a really easy stretch. I legit just have to take my leg, and then whichever leg hip I'm stretching, that leg just hangs off of the bed, and then it just stretches. It's called the IT band, I think is what it's called. And it just stretches that muscle.
I hope you caught a burp. I mean, I don't burp, but about a minute ago, a little noise made it in my throat, and I need you to, when you're editing, I need you to amplify the little noise.
This is media for the intellectually empowered. I'm Taylor.
I'm Randy.
And this is the podcast that
enriches your mediocre lives.
What are we talking about today, Randy?
Oh my god. It's Christmas! Well, it's 4 days before Christmas.
Yeah, for this, when this airs.
Merry Christmas!
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to be talking about today is Christmas.
Christmas, all of it.
Everything.
Everything about
the history. You have your textbook, right?
Yeah, it's right
Okay.
here.
No.
Held up a phone.
Okay, go. Chapter 1.
Chapter 1.
Where does Christmas come from?
Well,
Let's talk about our Lord
So-
and Savior,
no.
Jesus Christ.
So- when a mommy and a daddy love each other very, very much, they get together and they make presents for each other. And then they take those presents and they're like, they put them in a drawn out like ritual circle, and then they get candy canes and mistletoe, and they put those in a star formation, and then they chant an ancient hymn, which is allows them to sacrifice these gifts to the being known as Santa Claus. And then after sacrificing that, they have then blessed their children with the ability to gain presents from Santa Claus. We don't know where Santa Claus came from. People have been trying to figure it out for years, but there's no concrete evidence. Some people don't even believe in him, right? It's widely spread that some think that he might not even exist, and in fact, it's probably safer because, you know, if you don't gain Santa Claus's favor, like, it's possible that like he could snatch you up as a baby, and then that's it. Never see your family again. And you're forced to work at the North Pole and make presents for other children who are more fortunate, all while, you know, Santa Claus is bearing down.
Okay, never mind. I don't know where you were going. I
don't
thought you
either.
had an end, and it looked like it was... So, for the people who are just listening, I died laughing that entire time and could not. That was really dumb. Everyone who's watching this can see me holding back laughter, but you did a great job.
My butt hurts. So Christmas, right? Everybody knows, most people know what it is. I would say anyone listening
We're
to this
not
likely.
explaining what Christmas is.
No, but I was just going to segue.
Okay.
I was going to be like, we don't have to explain what it is because everybody knows what it is.
Yeah.
You just assumed that because I started talking about it. Wow,
Yeah.
it's very sumptuous. Sumptuous of you.
Yeah, so everybody already knows what Christmas is. And so today we're going to be talking about Christmas movies. He chose a movie.
I chose a movie because there's not very many good Christmas games.
Are there any Christmas games?
I'm sure there's got to be at least a couple, right?
Yeah. Now I want to figure it out. They have like Christmas like themed, right? Don't they come out
Yeah.
with like little like packages or
Well, yeah. I mean,
what are they
I
called?
guess.
The add-ons or
Yeah, add-ons. You can get like Christmas themed add-ons, but there's got to be at least like one or two games that are just like, it's Christmas and you
And
need
you're
to help.
Santa, you
Yeah, you
gotta
gotta go
deliver all the gifts.
deliver the gifts, and it's like a weird platformer or something.
Well, now I want to know. But
Okay.
you start with your movie. What movie are we talking about today, Taylor?
What movie am I talking about today,
Yep,
Taylor?
Yep.
I am talking about the movie Elf, directed by Jon Favreau, released in
It was directed by Jon Favreau?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, right? Oh, geez. If I did my research and I read it wrong.
Oh, please have read it
Elf.
wrong. Please have read it wrong. Oh no, it was directed by Jon Favreau.
Oh yeah. It stars Will Ferrell
That would have been
as
hilarious.
a oh man. Oh, I should have looked up when it was released.
So much.
He did so much. Yeah, it was released in 2003 by Jon Favreau and stars Will Ferrell as a boy that was an orphan that was picked up by Santa Claus by accident, I believe, and ends up in the North Pole.
Oh, we don't know how he got to the North Pole.
Yeah, we do in the very beginning. He sees Santa Claus and then he like crawls in his bag. And then at the end of Christmas, Santa Claus sees the baby.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I've seen that scene once in my life.
That's the scene that everybody skips, right? The middle to the end of the movie.
Well, because you
only watch it when it's on TV.
I was gonna say nobody's going. Some people are, but
we did every year religiously. We watched Elf.
No, nobody's going looking for Elf.
I was. We had the DVD. We watched the movie and then we watched the bonus features.
I was gonna say something really mean, but good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
I'm glad that was. I'm glad that was your life.
So yeah, so he grows up. Buddy, his name is Buddy. Grows up as a human surrounded by elves, and he doesn't really feel like he fits in until finally he's told that he's not actually an elf, and so he wants to go find his real family, who lives in New York, and his dad is like a uptown businessman who wants nothing to do with Buddy, and it's the story of how a crotchety old man.
Wait a minute. He crawls into the bag? Into Santa's bag?
Yeah, because I think he sees a bear that he likes. And he goes and crawls into Santa's bag. And then Santa, like, accidentally takes him back to the North Pole.
So, I'm not remembering this movie. Because then when he comes back and he's like, oh, it's my dad and it's my mom. Like, his dad's not happy to see him.
Yeah.
I don't remember how his mom reacts. But if he was at their house, like, they lost a baby. Like, they lost a child.
Maybe he was, I don't know, man. Maybe it was like a fire step thing. Because, like, I know that his dad is his dad. But I'm pretty sure that the mom is just, like, the wife of the dad.
Okay.
And so it's just his dad.
Oh, didn't the dad have... Why? This is awful.
This is terrible. Why do people watch this stuff, man?
It's a great movie, but... Yeah, didn't the dad have another, like, woman that he loved? And, like, there's... I feel like I'm remembering a scene where he's, like, looking at the other... Like, yeah, the other mom. And, like, she died or something.
They find out that he doesn't believe that he's the dad because I guess the mom never told him. But then they take a DNA test and they find out that he is the biological father.
That's right. That's what it was. What it was. So he never knew that he had a kid.
Yeah, he didn't know.
Okay, makes a lot more sense now. Because I was like,
but Santa knew.
No, but it was... Yeah, but Santa's like, he doesn't want a child. I'm not going to send him back.
Well, yeah, but Santa knew who his father was, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We know that in
like the first like 5 minutes of the movie.
It becomes like this story of how a crotchety old man is instilled with the spirit of Christmas by his long lost son who thought he was an elf.
Yeah, you really had to get that out, didn't you? Yeah.
I wanted to finish my synopsis.
I know, but you had to like say just like that. You had to say crotchety old man,
or
it wasn't gonna work. It wasn't gonna be accurate enough.
No.
Okay. Because
he's crotchety. Because he's like Edward Crotch Hands.
Oh my god. No. We should have got Santa hats for this. I'm really sad.
Man. You know what? I had Santa hats back at the apartment, but we didn't go back to the apartment.
Go get Santa hats.
What makes Elf like a good Christmas movie, right? So what makes a good Christmas movie in general? I think it has to involve Christmas in some way, shape, or form. Yeah,
if your Christmas movie doesn't have Christmas, you're doing something wrong. I did take notes on this, which is probably the first thing that we should have done is explain a Christmas movie.
We never do that. That's what happens when I start the episode. I
know, but also my mind went to, we're not going to explain Christmas. We could have explained what a Christmas movie was.
Let me do my guess first before you say.
Okay. Well, I didn't look up an actual definition. I just put what I prefer to have in a Christmas. Sorry, my mic was like way over here. My mic was far away. Sorry.
One thing. Okay, so Christmas movies has to have Christmas in some way, shape, or form. There has to be a character that did not believe in Christmas or did not have Christmas spirit. At the end, must have Christmas spirit.
Okay.
And there has to be Fucking Christmas. Yeah.
That's it?
No, I don't know. I had a third thing when I was thinking about it, but
I'll give you time. Do we have a buzzer? No, we don't. That was a terrible joke. So what I wrote down.
Shit, never mind. Whatever. There wasn't a third thing anyways. It's fine. It's whatever.
So what I wrote down is, it has to include some form of miracle.
A Christmas miracle. Okay.
Yeah, which I think ties into your thing about like not believing and then believing.
Yeah.
I think that's like a Christmas miracle.
Christmas miracle.
But they're typically whimsical. Like things that wouldn't typically happen in everyday life happen during Christmas.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
There's love.
I don't know about love. Not every Christmas movie has to have love.
Name one without love.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
He falls in love with the other little girl. The little girl, the other reindeer, the other girl reindeer.
And
she's the only one who's like, no, don't make fun of him for his nose.
I also haven't seen that movie. Frosty the Snowman.
There isn't any in Frosty the Snowman.
Bam!
Don't think so.
Frosty falls in love with his new girlfriend, Frostette the Snowette.
Goodness, that was a terrible joke.
Thanks, man. You know me.
And so here's the thing about, I don't want to get into, because I know you want to talk about Elf. I don't know what you're going to talk about for Elf, but I put nostalgia. It has some, like, element, it's difficult because name a Christmas movie that came out this year. I have a list. There are 7 that came out this year.
Are they Hallmark movies?
No.
Okay, so they're like actual Christmas. Okay, no,
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Exactly. But you could name all of the Christmas movies from like 1990.
I don't know about all, but like
you could name
a
couple.
I mean, the ones that I watched, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, that's a 90s, maybe even earlier.
No. So all of those, I wrote down a lot. And
A Christmas Story.
I'm going to make my point for nostalgia. I think Christmas movies, they have to do when you were born, and your favorite Christmas movie will have to do based on like your generation and when you were born. Whatever you grew up watching for Christmas is like always going to be your Christmas movie. Because we have, I mean, obviously I love Disney, and so I like animations and children things. But so there's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, there's Santa Claus is Coming to Town, there's the original How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and there's Frosty the Snowman. All of those came out in the 1960s.
Those are old.
All of those came out in the 1960s. And then there's Elf, there's Polar Express, there's Home Alone.
There's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, but the with Jim Carrey. Yeah.
That's the live action. There's Santa Claus, Santa Claus 2, Santa Claus 3.
Does Die Hard follow your...
See, so here's the thing. Yeah, so if you grew up, like... And there's so many different types of... I have so many things, and this isn't cohesive at all.
Great, perfect.
But so, nostalgia, so Polar Express is always going to, and Home Alone are always going to be like my Christmas movies, because I grew up watching those movies. If you ask a child today, what is their favorite Christmas movie, they'll probably say one of the ones from the 1960s, because I think those are always going to be classics. I mean, they've made it this far.
Yeah.
But they're going to say, like, the new Grinch, the new Grinch that came out last year. That little...
The one, I mean, it's not like it's
the
bad.
one with Benedict Cumberbatch as the...
I liked Benedict Cumberbatch, though.
I know, but that movie was terrible.
Yeah. I mean, it was sort of like a Christmas cash grab by the people that did Despicable Me.
See, and this is what I was going to say. I was going to say that all the Christmas movies, nobody, like... Only children who are growing up now are going to see the Christmas movies that are coming out now, and they're going to be like, yes, those are my Christmas movies. We look at them, and we're like, no, those are trash.
Those are trash. Get better movies, scrub.
Because we are always going to look at the ones that came out in the 1990s and the early 2000s as those are the Christmas movies. And all of the Christmas movies being made today are also, in my personal opinion, aren't good. They're all like sequels, and they're rehashing old Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Home Alone just came out with another Christmas movie.
Home Aloner.
No, it's called Home Sweet Home Alone. Like Home Sweet Home, Home Sweet Home.
I get it. I got it. Didn't like it.
Like 20 years after the first one came out. Like they are milking that series.
Is what's his face the original kid even in it?
No.
What's the point?
Exactly. Anyways, I also wrote down all of the Christmas movies that came out this year. A Boy Called Christmas, The Princess Switch 3, Love Hard, Father Christmas is Back, How Sweet, Home Sweet Home Alone, 8-Bit Christmas, and then Robin Robin. Those are all the Christmas themed movies that came out this year. I have not heard of one of those. Maybe only Home Sweet Home Alone.
Yeah, I didn't even hear about that one.
My point in all of this, to round it out, is that Christmas movies today suck, and the Christmas movies in the 90s will always be the best movies.
That is fair.
But also, I will admit that children growing up today will probably think that the Christmas movies coming out today are going to be the best movies ever, just because childhood and nostalgia. Going back to my original point, Christmas has to do with nostalgia.
Even then, they could be watching the movies that are older and be like, yeah, these are much better movies.
They could.
They could. Who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows?
That was my whole point. So I was saying Christmas movies have to be... They're not have to be. They will be nostalgic. All Christmas movies will be nostalgic.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think it's just because the idea of Christmas, and it's like it depends on who's making you watch what. But
we also have different versions of nostalgia. My version of nostalgia was whatever you grew up watching. Anyways, we're not
go listen
getting
to
into
our
all
episode
that
about
again.
nostalgia, whichever episode that was. I don't know, and we don't name the episodes based off of what the thing is.
Here.
No, I won't.
Yes, you will. Editing.
No.
The number is up.
Not there.
Sorry for everybody who's just listening. Taylor will now edit a voice saying the number here.
18.
Awesome. Great job, Taylor. Thank you for doing all that hard work for us. So Elf, what did you want to talk about with Elf?
I hate you so much. Oh boy.
That's gonna be a fun one to edit. Fuck my knee.
Good. I don't know, man. I grew up with Elf, right?
Exactly. My point is made in the episode. He's hitting me with his Christmas hat. I just realized this is a visual bit that only people watching will get.
Yeah.
That's really sad.
It's okay though. It incentivizes.
Watch the YouTube.
Please.
So I can say everything that I just listed is in Elf.
Yeah, all those things. I think what makes it such a Christmassy movie to me is just like there's
The
some
fact that it takes place during Christmas.
not just that, but like the whimsicalness of Elf himself.
Mm-hmm.
Elf himself. That's the new sequel name. I'm sorry, I've already given you ideas for sequel names.
Please don't make another Elf.
Oh my God, please don't, Will Ferrell. The powers that be, Will Ferrell.
We know you listen.
We know you listen to the podcast. No, the whimsical stuff that Elf does to me is just like so fun and Christmassy. Like my favorite scene, I think, out of the entire film. I don't like the ending. Like Santa Claus comes back and there's a rocket on Santa Claus's thing.
I love that.
As much as I like as much as I like the scene when he's like working at the retail shop. And he's like in the middle of the night. This is the scene that I always end up watching, when it's on TV. It just happened to click on when this part is on.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like redoing all of the stuff, and he's building Legos, and he's decorating and cutting paper snowflakes, and makes it all look pretty. And then there's a naked woman, and then he sings with the naked woman, and she freaks out, and then the romance starts. And all of that is very Christmassy to me.
I literally have no words. I don't know what you want me to say to that. I was right. There's love in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like all Christmas movies.
It's a great scene. It's a funny scene.
It's a funny scene, and it's a nice scene. I mean,
and then he buys for Christmas. For his dad, he buys him lingerie.
That's right.
Because it's like the perfect Christmas gift.
Yep.
And he buys his dad.
You can't grow up in the North Pole and not know what lingerie is.
Yes, you can. Do you think people in the North Pole are wearing lingerie at all? It's freezing there.
Yeah, but they have to make other elves. They have to. Don't look at me like that.
No, the way you get elves.
How do you get elves?
Well, you don't sacrifice to Santa your presents,
and
then he grabs you and picks you up and takes you to the North Pole, and there you work as an elf, right? And now you're working in like a Santa's sweatshop, and you're making toys for Santa, and you don't get to use any of the toys. Otherwise, he's like, "Bam! No, you're fired." And then when you're fired, You just
Then what happens? Then you float on a iceberg all the way back to your hometown.
Yeah, you float all the way back to your hometown, but then nobody recognizes you there, so you have to go find your father and
Are
do
you
a
still-
DNA test.
So like there's obviously all of the elves there, so they're children whose parents didn't sacrifice to Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So how do they stay at the same height? Like they never grow up?
Well, that's the
or-
thing is they get older, but because of Santa's magic, he likes to keep them short so he can seem to tower over them and have like a dominance to them.
Oh, okay.
So he can beat them up pretty easily if they mess up. So that's why they stay short.
Okay. And so then when they return home, do they still stay short or do they get to grow up?
No, they stay short and then they gradually will return to like what regular human size would be. It's like, you could just continue to grow where you left off.
Oh, okay.
And then you have to like go and live normal life as a human, but like the world is vastly different than when you left it, because when you left it, you were very, very tiny and you didn't remember anything. And so now it's like, whoa, it's like the plot of Elf, right? You go and you find your biological father and he's an upstate New York business.
Keep going.
And then you have to convince him that you're actually his son by doing a DNA test, and then you bond with his new wife and new son, and you create this new family, and then you fall in love with your coworker because you sang to her naked.
Taylor, I'm just gonna stop you right there. You seem to know a lot about like the infrastructure of how like the North Pole works and Santa Claus and everything. Did something happen? Is there something you wanna share with us? Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. But yeah, Elf is a great movie. Seems a bit personal.
It was so cold.
I like the scene when they're singing together until, I mean, obviously it's creepy, but
Yeah, but he doesn't realize that it's creepy. That's why it's funny.
Yeah, and that's what makes it. I think that's what makes him so charming. I mean, we were talking about this in my Marvel class about some of the side characters whose none of their names I will get. One of them's Mantis, I think, and then Drax. And then there's
in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, in Guardians of the Galaxy. We were going over like their characters and how they're, because of their sidekicks, they're like the comedic relief. But I brought up they brought it up too. We started talking about how their humor or their comedy comes from the lack of understanding, like our culture. And so what does that say about us as a society, that we will laugh at those who don't understand our culture? We don't need to get into that. But I think it's charming as well. I mean, Elf is kind of the same thing. It's finding comedy in the fact that he doesn't understand our culture.
Yeah, he doesn't get it.
I take with that what you will about what that means about society, but
I
I think it's there's no doubt that it's funny.
Yeah, it's really funny, and it's it spreads a good message at the end, because it's like, just because you don't.
We have talked about this. We have 100% talked about this
Already.
Yes.
On this podcast.
100%. No, I can't. Oh, my brain hurts because it's that worst deja vu
where it's like everything hits one after another after another after another.
Well, at first it was something small, and I was like, oh, I remember making that joke before, and then like you just kept talking. I was like, wait, we've done this entire thing before, and I've told you before we've done this before, and I'm freaking out now. I'm sorry. Continue.
Looks like somebody needs to get their sacrifices ready.
I swear to God, we've done this. No, we've talked about Elf before, and you said that exact. Oh my God.
No.
Okay.
Nope. Never happened.
I'm so sorry. Okay.
It's all good. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was weird.
Yep. It's good.
But it still feels weird. Okay.
You feeling better?
No.
Okay.
But
Well, it spreads a good message by the end of it, because it's like, just because you don't see someone as normal, like, doesn't mean that they're not like human, and that you can't accept them just because they're different. And then maybe even like believe in the Christmas spirit. You never know what your belief in the Christmas spirit could do for you, because anything could happen on Christmas. Anything could happen.
I don't know where you're going with this, but
any baby could be stolen.
Oh my
and taken.
God.
Yeah, that's kind of all I have to say. Not a whole lot. I mean, It's just like, for me, like, Elf is just such a feel-good movie.
It is.
And it fits like the themes of Christmas, of like, being nice to everyone.
Well,
and
let's talk about this just briefly. there are other I mean, there's so many different types of like Christmas movie. There's like romance movies, there's comedies, there's action. I mean, with Die Hard and things like that. What makes this comedy like better, at least in my opinion, better than some of the other comedy like Christmas movies we see? Did you ever see The Night Before? That has I think I could be wrong. I think it has Seth Rogen in it, but I might be wrong.
Oh man, I mean I haven't seen a whole lot of Christmas movies.
Okay.
But I think what probably sets this one apart is that it's just like, it's not the jokes aren't at the expense of anyone in particular. It's more of situational jokes, whereas a lot of comedy can be used as like a way to make fun of people specifically, right? It's like, oh, like this, you're stupid, or oh, you've done this stupid thing, right? And that's what's causing this comedic thing. But whereas Elf is very much like, sure, it's at the expense of Buddy in a sense, but it's less about he's laughing with us, and he doesn't. It's not necessarily like he's not taken aback by it, and he's not put down, and it's not like offensive towards anyone. It's just situational jokes. Like, it's funny when he meets a store mall Santa Claus, and he realizes it's not the real Santa. And then he has a fist fight with a fake Santa in front of like 30 kids.
That's really good.
It's really funny. It's not at the expense of anyone. Like, he just didn't understand, and then it just spiraled, and that's funny. Like the situation itself is funny. It's not, oh, he didn't understand that it was Santa and he's stupid for that. Everybody laugh at him because he's stupid. And also Will Ferrell, his delivery of a lot of the jokes, is just spot on. Like, he plays the character so well, and he understands what makes the character funny. So yeah, I think that's why it probably stands above some other Christmas movies.
Well, I just brought up The Night Before. I saw this one when it came out in 2015, so I was not it's rated R. I was not of age to watch this movie.
You were not of age?
I don't know if I've ever said this on the podcast. Another segue. I used to be terrified to go into R-rated movies while I was under the age of 18, to the point where I would leave my friends and go sit in the bathroom by myself, because sitting in the theater at like 14 like just gave me way too much anxiety watching an R-rated. And all of my friends, like, they were in there and everybody was having fun, and I was just sitting there hyperventilating, and then I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go to the restroom, and then I'd never come back. And they're like, hey, you missed the whole movie. Yeah.
Sorry, I had the bathroom.
Anyways, so I think this was the only movie that I actually sat through in the entire theater. Anyways, it has Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Seth Rogen, and Anthony Mackie. And you know those like mainstream comedy movies that are like
just dumb and full of alcohol?
So like this one is that, and so why is Elf better than this one? But you hit it. I think it's not making jokes at any particular person, and the main character is laughing with us rather than us laughing at him. Whereas this movie, it's more like there is like somebody being the butt of jokes, and the fact that it's all just like alcohol and drugs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like racy comedy. It's like, what's funny to adults? Well, isn't it funny when you take all your drugs and then all of your drugs? It's like, no one can really relate to that. It's like, this is what Hollywood thinks is funny to us, because they're like, here at Hollywood, we do all of the drugs, and we think it's funny when we make fun of the drugs. But then, like, you know, I would say the common person doesn't really do like crazy drugs and stuff, and is not like going on crazy alcohol binges. And they're on Christmas Eve. I don't know what happens.
Not on Christmas Eve. Maybe, I'm sure there's some people out there.
Yeah, but like,
not the vast majority.
I think that the audience that they're spurring it towards probably doesn't live that life.
Okay, my movie.
Your movie.
It's The Polar Express. Of course, because I love Disney.
Is it a Disney movie?
It's not, but it's an animated.
Okay.
It's a children's movie.
So
Disney is synonymous with all animated movies and all children movies. Yes. I stand by my point.
Okay, cool. Here. Yeah,
what were you gonna say?
I love Disney. My movie's The Polar Express. I love Disney. Continues to explain why, though they're not related, they are related somehow.
Yeah.
I just thought it was comical.
I mean, yeah, we won't get into it. You get what I'm saying.
We did get into it.
I'm a child at heart. Anyways, have I talked about this with you before, like outside of the podcast? Because there's one big like fact that I want to drop, and if you already know it, it's going to ruin my day.
I don't think I've ever talked to you about Christmas.
Do you know anything about the Polar Express?
I've seen the movie many times.
Do you know anything about the Polar Express? Do you know anything about the creation of the Polar Express?
No, I don't.
Do you know who's a big star in it?
I know Tom Hanks.
Okay. Do you know who he plays?
He plays the conductor.
Okay. And?
Santa, maybe?
And?
All of the children.
He plays 5 characters in the movie.
What?
I can't believe you don't know this. This makes me so happy. This was my big tidbit that I wanted to drop. Tom Hanks is Santa, the dad, the conductor, the hobo, and he does the motion capture, because this movie was done with motion capture, for the kid.
He does the motion capture for the kid?
He does the motion capture for the kid.
Oh my god.
So he acted for 5 people, and he was the voice of 4 people in this movie.
That's crazy.
Right?
That's crazy.
This was a fun project, not a fun project. This was like a, what's the word for a close project for him? I don't know. This was his side, not his side project, what's the word? His passion project.
Yeah.
This was his passion project that he did with director. I didn't write it down. I thought I did.
Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Who directed the Polar Express?
The Polar Express was directed by Robert Zemeckis.
There you go. So they were close friends, and he's actually directed 2 other movies that Tom Hanks has been in, Castaway and Forrest Gump.
Oh, it's the same dude that did Castaway. It's the same bit as the other thing that happened that we talked about. We can't because that episode hasn't come out yet.
Okay. I mean, you made me lose my train of thought. No, so this was their passion project, and so Tom Hanks really, like, spearheaded this, and he you doing okay, Taylor?
What seems to be the problem? Continue.
So he really spearheaded this project, and obviously was in it a lot, and I just can't focus anymore.
I don't know what seems to be going on.
There's nothing that's the problem.
So the Polar Express.
The Polar Express.
Yeah.
It came out in 1985. It's your classic Christmas movie. It has all of the things that I was talking about. It's nostalgic for me. I watched it all the time growing up. I loved the music in it.
It does have good music.
I remember I'm so embarrassing, even though I still do this to this day when I am watching. I used to do it in front of people. When I'd watch Disney movies or when I'd watch any kind of animated movie that had music in it, I would sing along in front of, like, my family and my brother, and that's why my brother hates me to this day. Anytime.
That's the specific reason?
No, 100%.
You can nail it down to that?
100%. Anytime the slightest nowadays when I'm, like, in my room or I'm in the kitchen making food and I start singing, he gets so frustrated and he just walks away. He can't stand me singing because I sing all of the time.
Yeah, I get that, though. It's similar because my mom did the same thing. One of my pet peeves is when someone's like, I want to show you something, and then they proceed to, like, either talk or sing over whatever they're showing it to you. I'm like,
I try not to do that, but I have 100% done that in the past where I'm like, look at this, and then I start singing along to it. It gets out I love singing. I wish I was better at it, and I could take classes for it, but I won't.
Yeah, you can learn.
But so I would sing. I remember being little and singing these at, like, the top of my lungs, and it's such a feel good movie, and it's about this child who is no longer really believes in Christmas, and it's based off of a book. So the movie, I was wrong. The book came out in 1985. The movie came out 2003, I think. A lot more recent. But it's based off of a book, and so this child is kind of growing up and is out of the age of believing in Santa Claus, and the Polar Express comes and whisks him off to the North Pole to, like, show him that, like, Santa Claus is still real.
Yeah.
And it's a whole movie about kind of what you're saying. There's somebody, or what you're saying all Christmas movies have, which is somebody who doesn't believe, but by the end of the movie ultimately believes. And I love the idea of the bell that they have, that for it's there throughout the entire movie, that all the other kids keep referencing this bell that they can hear, and it's like this beautiful, like, chime and the music that it's making, and he has no idea what they're talking about until the very end when he has this pivotal moment, and spoiler alerts if you've never seen the Polar Express, but he's just like, I believe, and then he rings the bell, and it's such a good Yeah, it's just a feel good movie.
Yeah,
and
well,
like
it's like the whole bit is that the bell can only be heard by people who believe in Christmas.
mhm.
And
I think it's believe in Santa Claus.
Santa Claus, Christmas,
Because
same idea.
it does say that at the very end of it, and I don't know if it's in the book or not, but that the bell eventually did stop making noise for him. And it lasted longer for his sister, but then eventually she stopped hearing it too. So
Mhm.
it's, I think, believes in Santa Claus, not Christmas.
Yeah, maybe it is. But
But
like it's like the whole grandiose gesture because Santa Claus is like, it's the first gift of Christmas. What do you want? He's like, I want a bell.
And the bell.
I want to go home.
I want to go home. Gosh, the music in it, the hot chocolate song, I think is my favorite. And that it makes hot chocolate look so good. I've never liked hot chocolate. I'm gonna get outed. I've never liked hot chocolate.
I'm not a huge hot chocolate fan either.
Okay, I thought Taylor was gonna kill me.
Nah, man. I mean, I think I've had it a couple times, but
It's never chocolatey enough. I would rather somebody melt down a chocolate bar and then let me drink it.
yeah, that's my thing. I think I'd rather eat a chocolate bar than drink hot chocolate or like have a s'more,
I
right?
mean, yeah, I mean, just for me, it's never chocolatey enough. Like you drink it, I'm like, this is hot milk. I don't. I want, or even like some people make it with water, and then you're just drinking hot water. Like there's no chocolate flavor in it. And so, anyways, that movie always made me want hot chocolate, even though I've never been a big fan. I just love the message that the movie has. That, I mean, we're always told. I mean, not always told, but we have this, like, you know, the mantra, like, seeing is believing, and it flips it on its head, and it's like, you have to believe before. I mean, it's the whole, like, it's like Christ and religion and everything. But also it's not just seeing, like, they do it with hearing. Like, you have to believe to hear.
To hear it, yeah.
And I think it's an interesting idea to switch that from seeing and, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a good movie, right? It's a fun. It's
is.
very well shot.
Yeah. And it's funny. That's something, because I was watching it the other day and it still makes me laugh, and it's so dumb. Not the conductors, like the engineers of because more than like half the movie takes place actually on the Polar Express, because it's called the Polar Express.
Yeah, thus the name Polar Express.
But the engineers, when they're in the front of the train, like trying to fix the light or something, and they can't, and then they're running into like caribou and it's freaking out, and then it's funny. It's really funny.
It's funny.
They're my favorite characters.
That's good. It's been a very long time since I've seen the movie in its entirety. They used to, when I was in elementary school, be like, it's Polar Express Day. Everybody that has good grades doesn't have to go to class anymore. Go watch the Polar Express.
I remember that. We used to do that in my school. God, being an adult sucks.
Yeah, no one's telling you can go watch the Polar Express because you're doing
good. I still get good grades, and I don't get to go fucking watch the Polar Express.
I mean, you could. You did.
Yeah, but not instead of class.
That's true. We should petition that.
Yeah, we should. Everybody who has an A should. It should be in a specific class, though. It should be in, I don't know.
Christmas class.
In Christmas class.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have an A by Christmas, you don't have to go to the final. You can just watch the Polar Express.
Yeah, and that's your final.
That happened too, didn't it? I feel like that happened where if you were really good, you didn't have to take like a test or something.
Yeah, absolutely, that's happened.
Yeah.
Right? That happened to me. Like if you get really good grades by the end of the semester, especially like middle school stuff.
Oh, that was in high school.
Elementary school.
I got to do that in high school. If you had above like a 95 in a class or something, and you could prove that to the principal, she would sign off on a paper and you didn't have to take the final.
What made me so mad was at my school, if you took like the advanced placements tests to like get college credit and stuff, if you took those, then you didn't have to take the final. But also, if you had a high enough grade, you didn't have to take the final. It was both. So if you had a really low grade in an AP class, but you didn't want to take the final, you just take the AP test. And I had a 95, like almost 100 in like my chemistry class, and I didn't want to take the AP test because I didn't have to. And it was just too much stress, and I wasn't gonna like need to test out of sciences because I was only gonna have to take one science anyway. So I didn't take it. My professor was like, I have a policy in my class that if you don't take the AP test, then you have to take the final. And I'm like, but the school, the board of education says that I don't have to take the final. because I have a good grade. And she's like, well, in my class you do. I'm like,
You got a choice not to take the AP test?
yes.
We didn't get. I don't think
Because we had
got
to
choices.
pay.
Oh, we didn't have to.
Yeah,
pay.
because if it's, I assume if it's paid for you, then it's like take it. But if we had to pay to take each one.
Oh no. But ours was different. Even if you took the AP final, you still had to take. I mean, even if you took the AP test, you still had to take a final. The only way you could get out of taking a final was if you had above like a 95.
Yeah, where's your
class.
Christmas spirit?
Yeah.
Where's your Christmas spirit?
Yeah.
What are you doing with no Christmas spirit?
I was going through. Okay, calm down, Taylor.
Okay.
You're not 3 anymore. You're not. The bad man can't hurt you anymore. The big guy can't hurt you anymore.
I just wanted to go home, but he kept me saying, make more toys. Make more toys.
But you are home, Taylor. You are. Open your eyes. It's a terrible bit. It's a terrible bit.
It's a great bit. What are you talking about?
I was gonna keep going off topic, but I won't. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything. The animation is really great, and
It's got weirdly like almost Uncanny Valley, but just past Uncanny Valley, you know? Where the faces are, because of the animation style itself, to me, I've
Mhm.
always seen it where it's people, and some people agree with me, where it's like the Polar Express just barely passes the Uncanny Valley, but there are some shots.
what is the
And-
Uncanny Valley?
You don't know what the Uncanny Valley is? So in animation and in creation of like virtual faces, there's like there's a graph. So it can look not human at all. It can continue to look more and more human. But then right before it gets human, there's what's called the Uncanny Valley, where it doesn't feel human at all, like at all, and then it goes straight back up to feeling human again.
Okay.
And so the Uncanny Valley is like it's almost human, but it's not quite, and it kind of bugs you a little bit,
Mhm.
and it makes you feel weird. So the Polar Express, people say it's just past the Uncanny Valley, but it dives in there every so often
Once
on
in
a
a while.
couple.
Yeah, I can imagine for some scenes you're like, no, that's not it.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom Hanks was 5 of those people.
Tom Hanks is an incredible
He was,
actor.
yeah, and motion capture, it's incredible.
Did he do the flips from the Engineers?
I'm sure he didn't. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sure they got other paid professionals to do that.
They got Tom Holland.
Yeah, they got Home Holland instead, because Home Holland can do those backflips.
He can do them backflips. You think I wasn't gonna let that slide?
I didn't want you to. That's exactly what I wanted. I wanted you to say it back to me.
Oh man, we have fun here.
We do.
We do. It's Christmas.
It's Christmas. Not really.
Yeah, it is. Don't tell them that. They don't know. They don't know when we're recording this. They don't know we're recording this at the end of November in
Taylor,
preparation for
you
Christmas.
just told them.
Oh my goodness,
Oh
you're
my
right.
goodness, Taylor.
Man, I'm so sorry I told you guys. While we're at it, my social security number.
I thought we were gonna make it into a whole Christmas thing now and be like, but I forgive you. No, it's Christmas. Those really cheesy Christmas movies?
My favorite
Hallmark ones?
Yes, the Hallmark ones. I was about to say my favorite are the cheesy Hallmark ones, because there's like 2 every year,
Yeah.
right? And they're
always
churned
the
out.
same plot.
Yeah, it's like
Same plot.
uptown businesswoman or uptown writer goes off to freshen her mind by staying with her family at some
With
old,
her great aunt
great
Betty
aunt,
at her
uncle.
country house.
At her country house, and then there she meets the farmhand, who's a hot hunk who's named Jareth, and Jareth
He's
is
100% named
Jareth, and Jareth doesn't
He's
think
a playboy.
he's a playboy.
He doesn't play by
anybody's rules. But then Kathleen, the uptown New York writer, doesn't believe in the power of Christmas, and when he finally asks her out on a date, he takes her to a Christmas thing. But when she was a kid, her parents didn't get her Christmas presents,
Ooh.
and so she doesn't like Christmas. And Gareth is like, "Whoa, man!" Or was it Garrett or Jareth? It was
It's Jared.
Jareth. And but Jareth won't go on a second date because she doesn't believe in Christmas. But slowly she starts to believe in Christmas until she finds out that Jareth has a side piece.
What? Hey, we should make a movie. That was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
But then
that was just off the top of your head.
she finds out that Jareth, it wasn't a side, it was Jareth's cousin, Gareth. But a girl.
But a girl.
And then
wow, you still got more?
yes, and
Okay,
then
okay.
he's like, wait, take me back. I love you. And she's like, you love me? And he's like, yes. And to prove it, I bought you Christmas itself. And then he brings Santa Claus. And Santa Claus is like, he's like, oh, ho, ho, let me go. And then they kiss and the credits roll. But wait, there's a post-credits scene with Jareth and Gareth and Kathleen are all sitting around a campfire and there's a baby. And then Santa Claus takes it because they forgot to sacrifice to the Santa Claus.
Taylor, I really feel like there's something you need to talk about. Are you sure that you're okay?
I'm okay, man. It's all good.
Okay.
Really? No, I'm
Yeah.
good. Yeah, it's fine. I don't. There's no held back secrets. There's Santa. I'm on the happy list.
You're on the happy list? That's good. I'm proud of you.
Let's move on to some recommendations.
Oh my gosh. How the
man.
Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yes.
I'm stealing it.
Which
That's
one?
the one I'm recommending. With Jim Carrey, of course.
Yeah, the Jim Carrey one.
Me and my family will quote that movie till the day we all die.
Up to the day.
Up to the day, on our deathbeds. Each of us is going to
Quote
say
it
a
right
different
now.
quote.
Give me a quote. You be quoting it every day. Tell me one. I'm calling you out.
Yeah, I don't want to, because you don't know any of them. There's some, like, really obscure ones that we... What is it, 7 o'clock? Wallow in self-pity?
Yeah, 7
Not
o'clock.
7 o'clock,
Wallow
it's-
in self-pity.
Dinner with Myself. Can't cancel that again. There's when he's dressing up and he's like, ooh, ah, that's it, I'm not going. I believe the girl said there was a check. There's so, like, obscure ones, and then there's also when he's eating pudding, and, like, he comes to town and everybody's, like, feeding him food, and they're like, oh, this is this, and this is this, and he's like, this is not pudding, and he spits it out, and he goes, what is it?
Jim Carrey kills that role. It's such a great movie. I would say it's almost better than the animated one.
Oh, 100%. It's because it's a comedy. I mean,
Yeah.
the original one is what, Dr. Seuss,
Dr.
right?
Seuss,
And
that's
so
a very
it's just meant to
specific-
be like
yeah.
a kid's like, oh, there's a Grinch and we're going to teach him the holiday spirit about what
Mhm.
it means to be a Who and celebrate Christmas and be a family. This is the comedy. This is stupid.
I just love the scene where he's like by himself and he's just like you said, like where he's just talking about random shit and he's talking about his
Hello.
plan.
Hello. How are you? How are you? I asked you first. Stop coming. Something like that.
And then his echo says something
something
different.
else.
Oh, it's so funny. It's so
Dinner
good.
with Myself? I can't cancel that again.
I think
Jazzercise. You got me started and I won't be able to stop now. I went home the other day and there was a package sitting outside and I'm telling you, me and my dad like quote it all year long and I brought the package inside and I gave it to him and he was like, I think the girl said there was a check. Anyway, sorry. It's a great movie. I mean, a synopsis... You have to have heard of The Grinch, but there's a guy who lives on a mountain all by himself. He's a big green guy. Not the green giant from the green bean can. But
solid.
he doesn't like Christmas and he hates that all of the Who's down in Whoville are celebrating and singing Christmas. It bothers him. And then he goes down and he sees he steals their Christmas, but then they're still happy that
That Santa Claus didn't steal any of their babies this year.
And so they sing, and then the songs, they fill the Grinch with love, and then his heart grew 3 sizes.
And then he was happy and he liked Christmas.
And then he cut the Christmas turkey.
He did.
That's the whole movie. You don't need to watch it.
You don't need to watch it anymore. Take it off the recommendations list.
Please.
No, I'll recommend Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He had a very shiny nose.
And I heard that if you ever saw him, you would even say that it glows. And you know,
no
the
more.
reindeer
No.
They used to laugh and call him names. They never let this poor Rudolph join in any of their reindeer games. But you know what? On Christmas Eve, Santa, he came to say, he told Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? And then all the reindeer.
Go watch Rudolph. It's an amazing stop motion made in the 60s. It still holds up to this day. It's beautifully animated. And it's just like a classic, good, feel-good Christmas movie.
It is.
So, yeah, watch that. Please never listen to this episode again if you want to have your sanity somewhat intact.
I'm sorry. Look, I'm going to say it. This probably wasn't the most, like, heavily informational based, and we didn't go... I mean, we did go deep into, like, what makes a Christmas movie and what are good Christmas movies compared to bad Christmas movies. But this was also just fun for us, or fun for me. This is really a bit heavy, like, episode, and you 100% need to listen to it again, because I know you are on the floor
Next
laughing
Christmas.
your ass off. Yeah,
Well,
100%.
make it your new Christmas tradition.
Exactly.
Media for the intellectually in Christmas.
In Christmas. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Go to next intellectual. Media for the Intellectually Impoverished is hosted by Trey Taylor Smith and Miranda Randy Zapes.
Produced by Cam Ritchie and edited by Kat Trapella.
You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at MFTII Podcast.
Subscribe to our YouTube at Media for the Intellectually Impoverished or email us at mftiipodcast@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening.